Well, welcome to the BNI Effect. I'm Tony Meredith, and ordinarily I'm a business coach, but today I'm your host and fellow BNI member, bringing you yet another exciting interview from a BNI member. Today is episode number 24, and today's special guest is Chris Mott. Chris, hello, how are you?
Very well, Tony. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for being here, mate. Let's kick it off by you telling us a little bit about you, your business, and the main services or products that you offer.
Yeah, sure. So obviously my name's Chris. I am currently the head of strategy at Tradiesbiz. So Tradiesbiz are a full service digital marketing agency. We have a very sharp focus at the moment on trade and service-based businesses. So we offer holistic digital marketing solutions right across the entire spectrum of digital media, everything from roadmaps to designing strategic goals, managing paid ad services like Google and Facebook, right through to SEO, web design, and email marketing.
Wow, very comprehensive. How long has Tradiesbiz been going for, Chris?
We've been operating for about 2 years. And just going from strength to strength. It was a very targeted approach to actually niching down our ideal clients that brought about Tradiesbiz.
Okay, and so you're head of strategy, but are you an owner of the business as well?
I'm not actually an owner. No, I'm actually an employee of Tradiesbiz, but I definitely treat it like it's my own business. That's for sure.
Excellent. And so if Tradiesbiz has been going for 2 years, how long have you been there for, mate?
So the agency that sits around Tradiesbiz, we've been going for 8 years.
Right.
So we've
Okay,
got a lot of experience behind us.
right, fantastic. Right, so 2 years ago, you decided to really niche in, and hence Tradiesbiz was formed.
Yep, definitely.
Terrific. So how long have you been in BNI for?
Personally, I've been in BNI for 7 months, I think.
Right.
So it was actually my boss that introduced me to BNI. He joined after being invited at a local chapter in Coffs Harbour, and within 3 months we saw an immediate impact, to what we were doing, particularly with Tradiesbiz, and it just became a no-brainer. So I dived straight into looking for a chapter where I am on the north side of Brisbane, and lucky enough to find a brand new chapter, getting themselves off the ground, and I joined after the first meeting.
Good on you. And so in those 7 months, how have you found it so far?
I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. It's great. So we don't actually have an internal sales team at Tradiesbiz. It's a very strong focus on providing not only a quality service, but also a real personal touch. So, BNI and physical networking just go hand in hand with what we're trying to do with Tradiesbiz.
And so how has being part of the BNI chapter influenced your approach to networking in the last 7 months?
This is my first foray into networking personally, and like I said, being part of a brand new chapter has been really exciting. And realistically, I actually use it as the benchmark. So the things that I've learned from the people in my chapter, the advice, the encouragement, everything else, I really hold that to carrying the same standard into any other networking opportunity. So it's definitely it's a high bar to reach for, that's for sure.
Very good. How do you measure the success of your participation in BNI?
Obviously, being an employee, we've definitely got some sales goals that we're trying to hit. Like everybody in BNI, we're looking to grow, the businesses that we're attached to, whether it's our own or, we make it our own. So that's obviously first and foremost, a very close relationship with my boss, and we've got some very strategic goals that we're trying to strive for with BNI. The other side of it is also, we've stayed very true to our core values as an agency, and the vast majority of digital marketing agencies do operate on a fairly high churn rate with their clients, over a 12-month period, just being the business model and the services that we offer. We set ourselves a very high expectation of as low churn as we possibly can, and that's really how we measure the success. One part is obviously the success of the businesses that we're helping with their marketing strategies and services. The other part of it is their tenure with us. So, holding ourselves accountable for having long-term relationships is probably the key to measuring the success that we have with BNI. And the referrals that we've received in the last 12 months from BNI that we've actually closed into ongoing clients, we've retained them all. We still have them. They're still active clients. So for us, it's doing exactly what it should be doing.
So what are you guys doing, in the sense of that you're having a low churn rate and others are not? What is it specifically that Tradiesbiz is doing so well?
I think it leans into the BNI side of things and that sort of personal networking. You know, we used to have a saying that was eat in the client's kitchen, is the best way to build personal relationships. It's much harder to fire somebody when you've had them around for dinner, effectively, is what that sort of comes down to. But in reality, it's about holding yourself and everybody involved accountable to the services that you're providing, making sure that everything's happening in the best interests of both parties. But definitely with Tradiesbiz and the trades and services industry, being fully online it's a great business model to have, and there's thousands of businesses that thrive on it. But in reality, the physical storefront businesses that we like to work with, they like the personal touch. They like having access physically to a member of team, whether it be their account manager or somebody who handles, clients or whatever it might be. It's, having access physically can go a long way with small businesses.
You said before that you love everything about BNI. Is there sort of, what would be at the top of that list, mate, in regards to, it's amazing you love everything, but is there something that you love more than the rest?
Probably just learning about everybody's businesses. That's doing the one-to-ones in the chapter is great. I try to do as many one-to-ones as time physically allows me to do. But, not being a business owner myself, I've learned a lot about operating businesses through, my experience with, Tradiesbiz in particular, but also just learning about how other people are traveling in their own businesses, their own challenges and things like that. And it's really sort of helped me understand ideas around how people manage their own risk and, challenges that they face and things like that. So it's definitely, that lifelong learning core value is definitely goes a long way. It's good to have a name for it now.
Hey, so you talked that you love one-to-one. So there'll be some people who are listening to this who aren't part of BNI or aren't familiar with BNI. So just talk through what is a one-to-one and what are the benefits of having them?
Yeah, well, the biggest benefit is obviously making connections within the chapter and getting to know the people in your chapter, but also, what makes them tick, why they're in BNI, why they do what they do, the businesses that they run and how they run them. It's basically a structured time that we try and get together, as many times as we can through the month or through the week. Sometimes you'll do 5 one-to-ones in a week and sometimes you might only get one in. It's just the way it goes. But it's sort of that constant source of connection with people and understanding, how their business operates. So you can always have that ear to the ground for referrals as well. So when I've got people who are either, bragging or complaining, I like to go with is the easiest one. People are bragging about something, and I've got, someone that I could probably help introduce them, or they're complaining about something they're not getting from someone else, then I understand that there's probably people in my chapter that can help them. And that only comes through those one-to-ones.
Fantastic. What advice would you give to new BNI members to make the most out of their membership?
Set clear and achievable goals. I think that's probably it's really a core value of everything that we do, is set those achievable goals, set those milestones. So you mentioned before around, measuring the success. I think if you don't go into BNI with a clear idea of what you're hoping to achieve out of it, you'll never know if you're moving forward. Progress isn't progress if you're moving in circles, kind of thing. So I think if you set yourself very clear and achievable milestones, and refer to them as often as you can and be fluid with them. That's probably the biggest thing, because you will progress, you will grow whatever the outcomes that you set out for yourself early on. You'll start to achieve those, and you need to be able to go, okay, well, what's the next step? What's the next goal? What's the next milestone? So I think set yourself some, realistic and achievable goals and keep yourself accountable to them.
I describe that as start with end in mind, Chris, and that is that, you want to join up to BNI and you're about to spend some money to be a part of BNI, you're about to commit some time to BNI, and so it's about start with end in mind. What is it that you'd like to accomplish in that first year, in that first 6 months, whatever it might be? So, yeah, start with end in mind, get clear on what it is that you want, set clear objectives. It's about having a real purpose for doing something. So terrific advice, mate. Thank you for sharing. What's next for Tradiesbiz? What exciting projects or expansions have you guys got on the horizon?
We've got a couple of things on the go. One of the really good things about, having a sort of very clear outset around designing our ideal client, and niching Tradiesbiz down to be a very specific offering with a very specific person in mind is it's allowed us to focus on developing solutions, particularly that are specific to, industries and trades and services style businesses. So, I mean, immediately the easiest one that comes to mind is things like Google reviews are really important for a lot of small businesses. We've actually just about to launch a system that we've developed that helps capture reviews across multiple platforms. So things like Xero or your website, or if you're using Reckon or QuickBooks, or any of those platforms that you can capture reviews from, even physically in person with an NFC card. So particularly for tradies that might be on site, I've done a great job for a client, I'd love for you to leave me a review. They can actually tap a card to someone's phone and get a review immediately. But what this system actually does is, no matter where those reviews are placed, we can consolidate them and then post them to your Google business profile for you. So one of the biggest hurdles, particularly with Google reviews, is if you don't have a Google account, that can be a barrier for someone leaving a specific Google review. This system overcomes that for a lot of people. So you can leave a review almost anywhere and have this system place it on your Google business profile on your client's behalf. So that's actually really exciting. So we're looking to launch that in the next sort of 2 weeks. So we're really, really stoked about that.
Oh, you should be excited. I've got a number of tradie clients myself. So, mate, I'll have a chat to you offline. That's very exciting. How do you see your relationship with BNI evolving as your business grows?
Well, we've just actually had a staff member join our third BNI chapter. So we've sort of gone head first into it. I mentioned before, we don't actually have an internal sales team. So our BNI attendance is actually managed by operation staff effectively. So we saw an immediate impact with Jay, my boss, and also myself, over the last 7 or 8 months. So we've now got another one on the Gold Coast that we've joined. So we've got, pretty much half the eastern seaboard covered with BNI. So I think that I don't see that slowing down anytime soon, really. So I think it's really shown a huge impact in driving our business forward, and also allowing us to really put some proof behind the concept of how Tradiesbiz was born. So it's not slowing down.
And that's just proofs in the pudding in regards to how you and your colleagues feel about BNI. The fact that you're now represented in 3 chapters, clearly it's doing wonders for your business, which is amazing.
Definitely.
What's one piece of wisdom that you could share with the listeners, Chris, whether they be BNI members or not? What would it be?
Actually, there you go. Last week I actually heard a really good quote. I was down at the Coast Connections chapter for Friday morning last week, and there was a really good quote at the end of the meeting that said 100 candles can be lit from a single candle and its lifespan will not be shortened. So that sort of was a really good one in terms of, sharing everything that you're doing. Sort of happiness isn't decreased when it's shared, I suppose. That was a really good one for us. And it speaks into me personally anyway. I like to give away as much of my knowledge as I can, right up until the point where we can charge for it effectively, in good business practice. But yeah, I think it's doing life together is always better.
Amazing. And of course, that dovetails into, one of the number one or one of the key values in BNI, which is givers gain. So
absolutely.
Amazing. No, very good. Well, thank you, Chris. How can listeners learn more about you and Tradiesbiz?
Well, first and foremost, the BNI Connector, obviously, that's a no-brainer, that one. Also, our website, www.tradies.biz, is the easiest way to get in touch with us. We've got our range of services and offerings on there as well, and also the contact details for everybody involved.
Outstanding. Well, thank you, Chris, for being here. Well, look, that wraps up another episode of the BNI Effect. I hope that you enjoyed today's discussion, and I want to extend a massive thank you to Chris Mott for sharing his insights with us. If you found value in today's episode, then please subscribe where all good podcasts are to the BNI Effect. And until next time, keep networking, keep growing, and remember, your success is our priority here at the BNI Effect.